march today, before I started holding this banner, I was holding a sign. It said, "Mental illness is not a death sentence."
Right.
Let me say that again. Mental illness is not a death sentence. Christian needed help, but instead he was shot dead. Mr. and Mrs. Hall were in the Giant where Christian worked, 2 minutes from the overpass, and nobody bothered to call them.
Oh my God.
If they did, Christian very well might still be here.
Oh my God.
The Halls should have seen their son grow up, get married, have kids on his own, or of his own, and flourish in life. But instead, they're here marching with us today to make sure that his death was not in vain. These parents need to know why their son was shot with his hands up. We all need to know why the police report that was put out by the Pennsylvania State Police was the polar opposite of what we all clearly saw in these horrifying videos. Right down the street is the Monroe County District Attorney, E. David Christine. He has the power to get this to the Pennsylvania Attorney General, Josh Shapiro, but he has not budged one bit. I know many of you have been calling Christine and phone banking. Please, please keep doing this.
Keep doing it.
Sign the petition. Donate to the GoFundMe.
Knock on their door.
Keep doing what you're doing. There is definitely power in numbers.
Seek out Detective Kirchner.
We can all see that today. And it is going to take an army of us to get this the attention it needs.
You got it.
When I took the initiative to start organizing this, everybody seemed absolutely baffled by the fact that I am only 16. I've been asked multiple times as to why I think it's important that this is a youth-led march. In all honesty, I waited for somebody else to do this. More experienced,
Hold us adults accountable. We don't do anything. Thank
older,
you, you did.
and somebody with more power than myself.
You have all the
You
power.
have all the power. You do.
That didn't happen, clearly. I am a member of Generation Z, the generation who, yes, decided eating Tide Pods was But more importantly, my generation are the ones that have had to hide under desks and watch our nation's capital under attack on TV, and fear for the divided, crumbling country that will very shortly be placed into our hands.
And we're sorry for doing that to you. We stand with you to take it back.
So when somebody asks me why I would do something like this, my automatic answer is, why wouldn't I?
Come on. That's right.
My generation has a gigantic mess to clean up here, and we've all learned that when those who are supposed to be in charge fail us, it is left to be our job to try and fight for the change this country so desperately needs.
Come on.
My English teacher, who I believe is here today, Mrs. Bott, she rearranged her vacation plans so that she could be here with us this weekend.
Thank you.
And in her class, we're reading the book To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. You know, in that story, we see the character of Tom Robinson persecuted and killed for something he didn't do. Christian Hall is a mockingbird. He did nothing wrong. He was one of the greatest people to ever walk this earth, and we killed him. I talked to my uncle last night. He used to work for Mobile Crisis Unit in Baltimore, so that when there were cases like Christian's, there was a certified mental health professional that responded to these. We don't have that up here, and we need it. We need it.
They have the funding. They're not spending the money.
There is serious reform in education that needs to be enacted.
Yes.
We've seen this with George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, so many others,
Hundreds
and
of
now
others.
Christian Hall. Something has to be done to change this. We need change because we cannot keep going on the way we have, because then there will be more Christian halls, and that is unacceptable.
No more.
All right, I'm about to wrap up here, but I just want to thank Ben Crump. I was a little starstruck this morning when I met him. I'm not gonna lie, I was like, oh my God, that is Ben Crump. And he has been so gracious. Behind me, I'd like to thank Malcolm Kenyatta and Maureen Madden. I would like to thank the president and the vice president of our local NAACP meeting. Club. No, I'm sorry, I'm an NAACP club, so my brain just... I'd like to thank Mrs. Erin DeRosa for all of her help. Her daughter is one of my best friends, and this would not be possible without her. I want to thank all of my friends who showed up today to support me, to Elena, Isabella, Cole, Sierra, Charlotte, everybody else who decided to show up today. I am beyond grateful. I also want to thank, I
Thank you
believe
to
he's
our
still
only
up here,
political figure to
Mr.
show up.
Chris Hu. He has been my wingman. I could not have done this without him. When our first Zoom meeting kind of crashed and burned. The connection was wacky, and I was panicking, and Chris, I had him on FaceTime, and he was like, just breathe, it's fine. I was like, is it fine? I don't know if it's fine. But you know, okay. But I couldn't have done this without you, Chris. And lastly, I'd also like to thank my parents.
Yes.
For supporting me. What is happening? It's buzzing at me.
Jessica, look behind you.
Oh, you might have to back it.
Okay. So, yes, I would like to thank my parents.
Just use your girls on the run, boys. Let's go.
Where's the pink? Yes, I would like to thank my parents for supporting this, no matter how crazy it probably seemed. And they are both here with me today. My mom is here. My dad, where's my dad? My dad is down there, and my brother came with his friends right down there. Raise your hand, Christopher. I'd like to thank Christopher McCabe for being one of my biggest cheerleaders since I was 8 years old. And I would like to thank Mr. and Mrs. Hall for trusting me with your son's life. I cannot thank you enough. And like I said, thank you. I would now like to introduce my wingman and good friend, Chris Hu.